Welcome to Vital Fair Living. I'm Chitra. In this video, I will be taking you along with us as we harvest our fall vegetables. We had a relatively good harvest this year, and some of them were a real success, and some we are yet to learn how to do it next year. Let's begin with this video. I filmed this video sometime in October, but I didn't have the time to edit it because in between we had a lot of events and my daughter also had her autumn vacations. So I keep postponing this, and moreover it's a little too hectic around this time to be sitting behind the computer. You can see how our garden has changed during this time. But our autumn weather was mild and warmer compared to the previous years. So we did get a good harvest compared to before. We will be harvesting sweet potatoes.
So the question is where to start. You don't have to put everything at once, you can harvest it little by little. But when it starts freeze in the night, frost.
We planted the sweet potatoes a little bit late in the season, so we got the tubers ready from the garden center. The mistake we did was we planted them a little too close to each other and not separating each plant. And the result is they are grown one inside the other. They didn't have enough space to spread out and give a bigger potato. Now we are going to be digging out. We decided to leave some of the harvest for late fall because that way I can use our own produce for a longer period of time during the winter months. Sweet potatoes store also long in the cellar. You'll have to separate the saplings and the tubers and then plant them far apart so that they grow bigger. And this was the mistake, but next year we have learned from this mistake. And some of these potatoes are from a previous year's planting, and we did dig out a few of them. I think this is from last year's planting. Okay.
The normal potato you keep it better with the soil. This one we have to clean it.
Because they didn't have enough space to spread out further, they have come in really odd and funny shapes. We are still learning a lot. This was a little bit of a disappointment. I love to make baked sweet potatoes and even add it into soups. I guess I'll have to resort to buying to top up our winter vegetables.
Or maybe it didn't even come, I don't know. It only starts to grow now, you see.
Yeah, leave it there for next time.
Carefully. And it is eaten up.
This is our Mexican cucumber, and you have seen us harvesting a lot more in our previous videos. And this is the last of the harvest, I suppose. I'm getting a little bit every now and then, and just about a few days back I could pick at least about 10 of these smaller cucumbers. I pickled them and I also used them for cooking. I add it into some kind of buttermilk sauce and they taste really delicious with a little bit of spices. This was another surprise we had. This is the last of our cauliflowers which we planted. We did harvest some of the last of the ripe tomatoes and a lot of the green ones. The green ones I made into pickles. I will leave the recipe below in the description box. It's very easy to make and it's very, very delicious. Here we are harvesting a couple of the pumpkins, but they are not edible. We are going to be clearing up the rest of the tomatoes in the greenhouse, and we will be leveling the ground and preparing the soil for next year's planting. My husband was working over the weekend, a lot of it in the garden and just prepping, but he has a lot of his own projects in the IT. He's working on a few projects at the same time, so he's not giving so much of attention to the garden. Hopefully it will get better in the next few days. These pumpkins are really not edible, but they make great decoration pieces. I put them a little inside our home and also outside for decoration. They're really very pretty. And I made the mistake of harvesting one sometime in summer and cooking, and it was really bitter. It was inedible, but they're really very pretty to use for decoration. We have a lot of kale. We will be discarding the ones which are below in the plant because they are really old, and we will only be picking the ones which are on top and the soft fresh leaves. Kale can keep well over the winter months. We can be harvesting them even next year, and we were not in a big hurry. I had so much of kale to process and I usually make chips out of them. It's a very easy recipe with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and baking it in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. And this way it's nice to crush it over your pasta or onto the salads, and my daughter also likes to eat them like a snack. We also harvested a lot of the string beans. We had a good harvest but a little late in the later months. We have the last of the pumpkins which we will be harvesting, and this is on a different day. I was harvesting the last of these Mexican cucumbers, and this was our harvest. This is our Sharon fruit tree, and this was the biggest surprise we had. After 5 years, we are getting a nice fruiting tree. And they are quite heavy, so we have to give a lot of support. And this is almost ready for harvesting, and we will be picking once all the leaves are off. I filmed this today and I want to share it with you. We are waiting for a few to ripen, and at our home we also have a few. They can be stored quite well. This is our hazelnut tree. And I will also be harvesting some lavender. Lavenders are still blooming in our garden because we had mild fall, and I decided to pick a few, dry them and use it in making cosmetics like lavender oil, and you can also make lavender tea with them. This was the harvest we had. It has been one of the biggest so far. With this, I end my video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye bye.